Hi everybody, it's time to make some monsters again. Halloween was of course nuts. The season, not the day. So I haven't been live in a while. Um, so this is a mask based in black, like I normally based them in black. This mask is that black 3.0 that you may have seen advertised. And it is pretty black. I don't necessarily believe all of their photography. I think many of those pictures are a bit doctored. But the black 3.0, I would say, is blacker than a regular black, as you can tell from here. But that's not the focus of the evening. The focus of the evening is I've got a Krampus mask to knock out. So I will be doing that. Hello, everybody. That sculpture is just a female monster sculpt that I worked on. Patterns out of the way. I kind of just started the live video before I was ready to start the live video in classic Alan fashion. So you'll get a bit of me wandering around the shop to get ready to do the thing that I'm going to do. But this mask will turn into a white Krampus. Hello from Louisiana, and Indiana, Scotland. Hello! Okay. I apologize for being absent from your lives, but, you know, Halloween keeps me pretty busy. I need to get a brush. And my wife is going to come read comments in a while. All right. This is my pre-mixed paint, of course. Technically, since it's if it were a Latin word, then it would be Krampus, but it's not a Latin word; it's a German word. So technically, the plural should be Krampusen. So there you go. Yeah. Well, what's up, Levi and son? Levy and son? Leviosa. Sorry, that was a Harry Potter joke. Hello, everybody. Okay. All right. I've seen your message, and I accidentally deleted it about doing the interview. I would love to do an interview, but I accidentally deleted the message before I could respond to it. I am not the most tech inspired person, but Weird Kid Show, if you want to send me a message on Facebook or an email at stiltbeast@gmail.com, that would be perfectly fine, and we can get the ball rolling. And I will put myself at your leisure for an interview. As usual, I'm using my table here as a bit of a palette. And I'm going to dry brush this. I want to preserve my face detail. So I'm just using the top of the head to get some extra off of the brush. Now this is not the black 3.0. This is not that. This is my regular mask base. That's something I'm experimenting with. but I don't think I'll be using it on masks for a little while until I get it figured out, you know. But I still have to mix latex in with it. And you can see how fast the dry brush is just going to bring this up. It's going to be a very white Krampus. I'm dreaming of a white Krampus. It's very rare to hear me sing a Christmas song with the actual words. Not uncommon to hear me change them. My brain does a thing where if it's the right syllable count, it turns it into a song, like automatically, no matter what it is. And right now, I put on this first coat. I don't care. I'm hitting everything: gums, teeth, ears, all of it. And it's very harsh right now. It's black and white, and that's it. As I dry brush a little more, I will get midtones. But I'm gonna leave the neck and everything black. I'm putting white hair over that, so I'm not worried about painting all of that. It's all gonna get white hair. And I'm not worried about a super clean dry brush either, because I'm going to airbrush the shading in also. And right now it's very wet in Texas. It's been a rainy couple of days, so even my dry brush is going to take a little while to dry. All right. This guy's been sold. He's going to my buddy Craig in Atlanta. You're watching in a janitor closet. Okay. Yes, Dozer, glad you caught a live feed. It is a frosted Krampus. That is true. You may be the only person at a Mexican restaurant watching me. Scott, thank you so much. Has been a while, Billy Bones. All right. Now, there we go. La, 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 la. All right. And I'm looking on camera, and on camera, yeah, that's pretty even. I'm going to go ahead and get most of it off of my brush. I'm just going to distribute what's on here a little better, especially the wet stuff. You know, and that's going to break it down and give it, you know, a little more areas of gray. He's going to start looking a little more gray. And that's that base layer that I've dry brushed him. Will very much read as gray. Okay, see now that's a little grayer than it is white. I still need to get a fan on that or dry it. I'll grab a heat gun. Heat gun I'm going to use. All right, I almost never use a heat gun on low setting. But I might. Nah, I'll use it on high. I'll be a little further away. Yes, still a third water, third latex, and third latex house paint. This is not the black 3.0. This is the black 3.0. Here. Let's turn him around. You can kind of see the difference. And they're right next to each other. It's super matte. I think that's like part of it, you know. Yes, that's it. That is the new water-filled bust. I am too, Lexi. I am too. Good deal. Yeah, Monster Camp is coming up. It's going to be in January. Should be a good one. I'm excited. I'm excited when I make a mask because I love monsters. So it's real cool to be in a room with, you know, 7 or 8 other people and they all make a mask. You could get a bust from Monster Makers. Monster Makers sells sculpting busts for sure. I'm going to put some on my website here very soon. Bitty Mold also sells them. Bitty Mold Supply. Yes. All right, so I've hit that with the heat gun, and now it's you know, it's not transferable, so it's dry. And I'm gonna use a little more and hit it, and it looks like I painted it white, but as I dry brush, you'll see this will be a whole nother layer of whiteness, which people say every time I dance in public. It's a whole new layer of whiteness. And I'm not going everywhere with this. I'm hitting the high bits, those cheekbones that stick out. You know, the bridge of that nose. Tops of the ears, let's hit those again. I think a lot of art is just learning to really see what you're looking at and not taking for granted, you know, if you're, let's say you're sculpting a doorknob, you don't think you need visual references for a doorknob, but if you had them, it would be a better looking doorknob. All right, so that's a nice pop-up. Monster Camp info, you want to go to the Stiltby Studios Facebook page, or you can actually look on the Stiltby Studios website. Well, the Ron Perlman bust is somewhere in the shop. I don't know right now. Okay. You can glue Super Sculpey teeth into a latex mask. Now, it's a little better, in my opinion, to sculpt a cavity for them. And when you make your teeth with Sculpey, as example, like put a pin in the very bottom of it, okay? See that pin with the ball on it? Okay, so that pin with the ball on it, put that in the bottom of the tooth and let it just stick out like that much from the bottom, the ball. And then you put a little hole in your mask, and then you push this in there when you glue it, and the latex stretches around it and then grabs it, and then you have a mechanical lock holding your tooth in as well as the glue. So, and I never trust just glue, but if you have a mechanical lock along with it, then it works very well. I'm working on this Krampus mask. It's getting Krampusy in here. You know, Krampusy. I am going to, let's grab some horns. Look, horns. Now these are horns that I buy. I purchase them. Now not all of my horns are purchased, but this particular style is from a company called Elope. They work well. There's like a foam pad, because they're meant to go on your head. Oh, that's still warm. But they're meant to go on your head. And this little foam pad, I guess it's more comfortable, but it doesn't glue down well. So just about every time that I put these horns on, I have to test and see how they look the best. Yeah, I think that's it. Right there, right to there. Okay. Grab myself a marker. That's pretty good. And while that one is still on, I'll place this one. Elope. I get them from Elope. I heard eating. Okay, there we go. Contact cement. Contact cement is step one in adhering them. There will be a little step two. Step one is just contact cement. Again, it's a little bit wet in Texas, so things are taking a little bit longer to dry than normal. Not when you have Mr. Heat Gun. Plastic Ninja, who did you contact? Because if you go on Etsy, it is Bob. Bob. My gosh, I forget his last name. But on Etsy, Bob Connor. Bob Connor. Pumpkin teeth. Yeah, pumpkin teeth. They're the best. Yes. Thank you, Ezekiel. Yeah. And he'll sell in bulk. He's a good guy. The horns are like a real dense foam. It's almost plastic. Scott is the man on links. Hello, kitties. I have 2 cats in the shop right now, hearing my voice talking and coming in. I'm getting another cord for the heat gun. Currently, I did have the heat gun plugged into my tripod where the phone is plugged in. No mas. I love contact cement. It is the bomb diggity when it comes to sticking stuff together. There we go. We have horns. Okay. Pretty fast. Let me do a little something here. I'm going to grab some foam. So I'm going to glue a ring around here that is, I'm increasing the surface area of the bond by putting a foam strip around it. Yes, this is green. I'm going to paint it. I don't know how long I need these to be. Alright, so now I have my two strips. And right now I'm painting a little bit up onto the horn and that base around the horn. This is just an extra step that I do. I could consider them glued on, but I don't know, man. I don't like it. I want a little more security. I've not set myself up at a good workstation. The shop is actually fairly clean, but I've done a bad job. I'm working on like the dirtiest table. Like, that one's, you know, there's not a lot on that one. There's a lot of crap on this one. On this one, there's almost nothing. I'm not very smart. Yes, I agree, Big Dog. It's nice to have bendy horns. I once really hurt myself. I was in a Minotaur mask, and you know, the big, heavy, actual, real cow horns were on it, and it strapped onto my chin. And I'm running through the haunt. I was on stilts, and my horn catches camo net overhead. So I'm running and go, "Gah!" It's great. Not my smartest moment. So right now I'm painting on that thinner foam, and I painted on the mask itself and horn. I'm going to put this piece of foam on so that it hits both of those and kind of folds like a piece of angle iron, and it's going to grab the horn and the mask and make a nice little socket. That's right, camo net will take a Krampus right down. And I actually cut these a little bit shorter than it was all the way around. And I cut them shorter because I know this foam will stretch. I'm counting on that stretch to happen to make it all the way around. And I might even have to cut it. And our foam is good and warm now. I'll put my seam in the back, of course. Trying to put the middle of this piece turn around here. Yeah, see, and I've got a lot of extra left over. But see, that's a nice socket. Now that's really, I've really increased the surface area that holds that horn on. So Al Driver is a funny guy. I don't know if you guys know who Al Driver is. Really awesome haunter. And he's been in my shop. And when he was in my shop, he like knew where stuff was from watching enough of these videos. He's like, oh, that's in the sharps drawer. And then he goes over to where the sharps drawer was. But he got a little bit messed up, because a lot of the time on video it's reversed. So, you know, he would go to that side of the room thinking it was over there, because that's what it looks like on camera. But anyway. What's the best thing to fill in a mask you're going to use? It's too big. Upholstery foam. Go to like Joann's and buy 1-inch thick upholstery foam and just contact cement it in everywhere you need to make it fit your head better. It's not hard at all. You got this. 4 zombie horses. Holy moly. Oh, I made a centaur. On what can does it says? Yes. Yeah, you can't get, well, now, foam, all right, we're talking about Stone Farmer here and Psycho Axeman. All right, foam is a really big word, and it means a lot of different things. This foam is an EVA foam. It is a closed cell, cross-linked polyethylene foam, is what it is. So it's not like a extruded polystyrene foam, which is like white beaded foam, that's styrofoam, and then there's pink sheet foam and blue sheet foam. This will eat that like crazy, the contact cement. But this stuff, it won't. This is a different kind of foam. This is closer to upholstery foam. So, you know, it might say don't use it on foam, but they mean a certain kind of foam. Oh, so just let me show you the difference. So I'm moving this, and do you see see the one I put the socket on? It's only moving as much as the head is. The one I haven't put a socket on yet is wiggling a lot. So just doing this little bit, putting that socket on there, really helps hold those horns on. My foam is down here on the table. I'm making sure my foam is good and bendy. I'm asking a lot of it. I've got to kind of bend it in 2 directions. You know, it's stretching around the radius as well as bending that 90 degrees. There we go. We are socketed. Explaining something, I put the knife down. And now both of them, you know, they're on there solid. Now they're solid. That makes a big difference. Not black latex, it's black paint. It is right here. This is my normal black base paint. This is black 3.0. I'm testing it. I don't know a lot yet. Yes, EVA foam sticks to latex with contact cement, no problem. So Stone Farmer, the green label stuff, it sucks. It's a non-flammable contact cement. Bleh. It's garbage. You're in California. I understand things are difficult. Just drive across the state line and buy yourself some real contact cement, because green stuff. It's like ecologically friendly. It's better for the environment. It doesn't kill dolphins. But this stuff machine guns down sea turtles, but I love it. It is not good for the environment. It's not even good for us. But boy, is it effective. And now I need to hit this with black, and then I need to hit it with white. I'm not going to hit it with white. I'll just hit it with a little bit of black. And because it's EVA, I'm just going to, it's not going to stretch much. Go. I'm just mixing a little bit of contact cement and black paint, and that's what I'm coating this in. As you can see, it did stick pretty darn good onto the mask. And again, what I'm painting this with is just some contact cement with some black acrylic paint mixed in. I tinted my contact cement. Yes, you can do that. I'm going to get the chemical bite of the toluene that is in the contact cement to help it bond to the foam. My wife is here. It's awesome. She's going to answer questions for me. Yeah. You didn't bring any dinner?
Dinner after, but it is.
No dinner.
It is.
She said, I can't have dinner until I finish this mask. That's what she says. She's like, get your work done and then you can eat. Okay, wife. Cobwebs and Candlesticks says hello. You'll see that shortly, but I told you that so you have a good starting point. Hello. Oh, you're in Georgia? You don't have the red? You don't have the red in Georgia? That's sad. I'm about to go to Georgia. I'll smuggle you some. Attaching horns using floral wire. Now, there are so many ways to do horns. This way, I'm not building the horns. I already had this existing horn. If I were going to build up the horn, I would want to do a wire frame and then build on that. But since I already have my horns, I'm just gluing them on. I'm making my life easy. Okay. Now we're going. We're caught up.
Plastic ninja was the last person commented.
I saw something about weed. That's all that I saw.
That was Plastic Ninja says, Georgia doesn't care about any regulations unless it's on weed.
Okay.
He says, what you doing down in my neck of the woods?
The legendary Hauntor is going to Netherworld. So I will be attending Netherworld Haunted House on Saturday night with the legendary Haunt Tour.
David Williams says hello.
Hello, sir.
Asking you how it's going.
It's going well. I am recovered from Halloween. At our show, we're already getting started on our Christmas event, as many are. I know that from how many messages I get saying, hey, do you make Krampus masks? The show closed 4 days ago. All right, so our Krampus is set up.
Hi Shannon, what's for dinner? You can tell us.
We're having pasties. And pasties are a it's a miner's lunch, okay? And what it is, it's like dough, like pie crust kind of. It's a pot pie you carry in your hand. It's got meat. It's a meat pie. You know, it's an English meat pie. And they call them pasties. And they're delicious. And so Shannon made those for dinner. Interesting point in our marriage. I own a monster museum at a Renaissance festival, and I was researching for creatures to go in my monster museum. I was doing an underground exhibit, so I was looking up a creature that the Cornish miners used to talk about, and they were knockers. And if you heard of the Tommy knockers are the American mine spirit that Stephen King wrote his book about. And the knockers, there's no Tommy in front of that. The knockers in England, in Cornwall, they are in the mines there. Well, there's not a lot of pictures of them. So you know, sometimes you use keywords when you are looking for things online. Just as my wife, and I'm looking for photographs of these so I can, you know, make one for my monster museum. Just as I am narrowing down my keywords, it says in every description that in order to appease the spirits, the knockers, the miners would tear off a corner of their pasty and throw it into the mine in order, like it's like giving them an offering, like a little piece of your lunch you're giving to these spirits to appease them, so that they wouldn't, you know, collapse tunnels and kill miners. So I'm trying all these different keywords. I happen to put up knockers and pasties, which is spelled the same way as pasties, by the way. So just as my wife walks by the back of the couch, I pull up all these pictures of boobs covered in pasties. And she thinks I'm just surfing the internet looking at boob pictures. Which, what do you do? I was very upset with those results. Of course, I looked at every picture to make sure it wasn't what I wanted. But yeah, that's a true story.
Like our first year we were married.
Yeah, first year we're married, and she catches me looking at boob pictures online. Completely legitimate. I didn't mean to look at boob pictures.
You have cake too.
Yeah, it was Watergate cake. All right, so that guy is now on there. I need to start setting up for the eyes. I'm really only going right here.
It says they knew when haunt season was over that the live streams would start up again.
Yes, I was too busy. All right. So this light right here is like as bright as the sun, and I love it. very hard to tell what color an LED is. For the record. Just trying to get what I need. We have some things. You want to wire up LED eyes for a mask. You need 9-volt battery, one of these 9-volt battery connectors. I don't like the boxes. It's not so good. 2 LEDs. These are 9-volt pre-wired LEDs from Lighthouse LED. And a little bit of the speaker wire. So we get a mini LED light lesson right now. It's a full-size lesson, actually, because I have to do the whole thing. So, honey, you're getting email about Monster Camp.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Did you talk about the,
I mentioned, someone mentioned it, I don't know.
and we also sold a zombie mask.
I saw that. It's the same actor, Dark Hour.
No, that was Josh. No, this is Josh. This is. Oh, it is Josh. I'm sorry.
Same guy.
This-
All right. So I probably should have wired up the eyes before I moved the horns onto the head, just because I got to move the mask around a little bit. Go to my sharps drawer. And I should have a stabby thing. Yes, high quality shiv right there.
I didn't know the LEDs came in 9 volts.
They do. And I like them because they last longer. I can get 2 nights of operation out of off a 9-volt. Running 2 LEDs. Okay.
Lighthouse LED is on Amazon too. That's where I got mine. It's just,
Is Lighthouse LED on Amazon? Okay. And I'm just poking. I have these nice sockets already sculpted into my mask for LEDs. It's over the actor's eye and it kind of shields the actor's eye. So that's why I like, I mean, if you don't sculpt your own, then I'd actually put them like up here in the eyebrow, because you need a little room for the wiring and stuff. It's not the most flexible thing in the world.
David Williams says, can't wait for our Christmas fun. It's the second year for Dent Schoolhouse doing it.
That's so awesome.
Plastic Ninja says, what's the process like for ordering one of those bad boys?
Wife, why don't you explain the process?
I'll type it.
My wife is going to type it up for you. And that will give you the process. And this style of Krampus mask, LED eyes, hair, full head, horns, is $250. which I think is fairly reasonable considering, I mean, that's a big mask, you know?
Oh, there's Graham from the UK.
Hey, Graham.
Andrew Smith says, I'm new to all this. Is there a method to make eyeballs? The ones I make look badly brushed, like badly bruised pickled onions.
Okay, well, there's several ways to make eyeballs. There's lots of ways to make eyeballs. Let me get through these LED eyes and then ask me again later while I'm painting. This I kind of have to think about, and painting I just kind of do.
Hello from Newfoundland.
Should pick up. Did it come back?
No.
That's you. Mine has not frozen.
Okay. Are you doing the Krampus walk?
I don't know yet. I don't know. The Krampus walk has gone through many iterations. Well, I guess we can talk about the Krampus walk. The Krampus walk that happens in Dallas, it's in a bar district. I'm not a big drinker myself, and because it's such a bar district, it's like if you want a tattoo, you go to this street. Deep Ellum is the area. It's where you get a tattoo. It's where you hear, you know, I Hate My Dad music at a local bar. And basically, it's not a family-friendly place. I would not want to bring small kids there. And Krampus, you know, in its nature is, you know, it's kind of kid-centric. You take your kid to these Krampus parades to scare the crap out of them. And all I'm doing right now is I'm pushing the wires through the mask so I can wire it up. I don't want it wired inside the mask because we're going to sweat in there and that kind of stuff. So I just want, you know, the wires pop out over here.
Ezekiel, LOL, I hate my dad music.
Yeah, it's I Hate My Dad music, you know. It's loud, it's angry, it's, you know, spirit of rebellion.
David Williams says I'm going to be playing Krampus for hours this taunt.
That is awesome. I'm pretty much done now on the inside for a bit. I'll grab a hot glue gun because I hot glue the LEDs in place.
Cobwebs and Candlestick says I do love me some Megadeth.
Yeah. Me too. I'm a Metallica fan myself, but I like all of them. Almost all of
It
them.
says metal puts me in the Halloween mood.
Yeah, nothing wrong with some metal. Metal is good. I like me some good metal. I'm a hair band guy myself. Some Poison, Warrant, Bon Jovi, heck yes. Winger. Here's a band that no one remembers. Trickster. Anybody remember Trickster? No? Okay, that's fair.
Well, there you go. I got these comments now. Scorpion, White Snake.
Whitesnake. Saw Whitesnake in concert. We were on a balcony, and they came over, and they, you know, the mic was on a pole, and he was kind of holding it out to people so they could sing, you know, different parts and choruses of their songs. And he held it up to us, and I just reached over and grabbed the microphone, stole it from me and my friend, and we kind of finished out that bit, and I threw it back. It was a good time. I've always been shy.
How was the dark hour this year, Alan?
You know what? I did a very risky theme at Dark Hour, in my opinion. We did a vampire-themed show. It was vampire-based. And it was good. I dare say we had a really rocking show. We were able to do a lot of cool stuff, and I was very happy with it. Very happy with our show. Waiting on my hot glue gun to heat up. I'm gonna get this, get these in position where I want them. LEDs have a focal point, you know, so you want them to be straight, or else they'd be like car headlights, and you know, one will shoot one way and one shoots the other way, or one's straight and one's off to the left. You kind of want to, you know, get them going. Cat scratch fever. Yeah.
It's all music now.
Yes.
Any Vincent invasion.
I saw Poison, Warrant, Damn Yankees, and who's the band that did Bullet Boys? That was a concert, like, it was a big venue, outdoor venue. I'm not a big concert guy because I don't like loud, but at that point in time I was going with my sister, who is 2 years older than me, but tiny, and I kind of went as bodyguard, I guess, and I enjoyed those shows. And that was during, like, Desert Storm. And I remember Ted Nugent rode a four-wheeler and went out back behind and like at the back row of the concert, and he fired arrows over the head of the crowd. You couldn't do this today. He fired arrows over the head of the crowd, like shot them from his bow into a dummy of Saddam Hussein. I remember that. Ted Nugent, also very shy, and no one knows his opinions on anything. But he does sing a good song.
What do you add inside the horns to keep them from falling down?
Well, they're made of, hold on. These horns come from a company called Elope. This is actually a stiff foam. It's foam, but it's real hard. Okay, and look at that, it says www.elope.com. I swear it says that. ELOPE.com. So, yeah, that's what these are made of. So they are solid horns. They're not latex. I don't like latex horns. It's hard to make people believe that something made out of latex is, it's not foam rubber. So, again, foam is a very complicated word. I said this earlier. This is a cross-linked polyethylene foam. This is closer to EVA foam. Rubber is not involved. This is a plastic foam, like a Plastizote or like a Sintra plastic, which is foamed PVC. So, yeah.
I don't know if you answered my question about the color of the LED lights that are used.
I'm using red. Red LEDs. Because, you know what? I got talking on a tangent. I am using red LEDs, and I'm using red because it's a mask I made before. It had red LEDs, and the guy said, I want that one. So I said, okay. This looks really good with blue LEDs in the eyes, too. You might even say, I prefer blue. But you can't go wrong giving a monster glowing red eyes. You just can't. It ups the monster's cool points.
Did you have a good turnout for 2019?
We did. We did. It was a good year, good year, good show. So we had positive word of mouth. So, yeah.
I don't know what they're saying, but I find German metal gets me in the mood to sculpt and create horror art.
German metal. That's good. See? I got that eye in there. It's going to. It doesn't look incredible yet. It's on it. It's on the road to incredible.
Dark hour is on my bucket list.
Come on. Ezekiel, who is on right now, is you've been to Dark Hour what, twice now? And he lives in Australia. So I bet you can find a way to come see us.
Say hi to Nick from Monster Camp 3.
Hey, Nick.
Big Dog says it's a 9-hour drive, so sorry.
Come on, that ain't bad. 9 hours. That's cake. If you come out, if you drive out, I'll give you free tickets.
On the horns, is there a left and a right?
Yes. This is the right one, and this is the left one.
Coming from down under is dedication. Ezekiel says 21-hour flight, 1-hour drive. You can do it, big dog.
Yeah.
I never thought this in all my years of following you, but does Dallas not have a Texas accent? My uncle is from somewhere down there and was super thick.
Well, I was not raised in Texas. I was raised in Maryland, which is it's a little state, looks like a gun, in the Northeast. I was raised there. But I don't have a Maryland accent either. I don't know. Just lucky, I guess. Not there's anything wrong with the Maryland accent, but I can tell when someone's from Maryland, like, right off the bat.
Are you putting hair on the mask, and if so, what color?
White. Is getting white hair, this one. So now I'm at the part where I have wires. Okay. So the LED, right here is the LED in the eye of the mask. The wires go into the eyebrow and back down here, and they pop out on the side of the head. I'm going to hide that with hair. You'll never see it. But I'm going to take my strippers and strip.
Does Maryland have a New England type accent?
No. Baltimore, Maryland, that whole Baltimore County, Harford County, they very much have their own accent. They don't say water, they say wooder. They don't say Baltimore, they say Balmer. It is very unique. They don't say roof, they say roof. It's very interesting. All right, so now I know I'm going to have my battery pack back here on the back of the head somewhere.
So I'm from Pittsburgh, and I'm like you sound like us. Stonefarmer says, over 9 hours, free tickets?
That's right.
Do you ever just burn the coating off with those tiny LEDs instead of stripping them?
No, because then there's fire, and I just use contact cement, so things could go awry quickly.
Would rather have a behind the scenes tour.
Okay, let me know. Ezekiel, did you get a behind the scenes tour? I bet you did.
Sure.
This is just a little bit of speaker wire. I prefer the speaker wire that has copper on one side and steel on the other, so that I can keep the colors of the wires the same. Because coming off of each LED is a black wire and a red wire.
Ezekiel said yes, behind the scenes and VIP a couple of times.
Very good.
I know Ezekiel's not going to miss out. Now he needs to come to Monster Camp.
Yeah. All right. So I do want to get all of my wire stripped before I start setting things up.
Nick says it's awesome and amazingly awesome behind the scenes, that is.
Yeah.
Pastor Amanda says I'll get to dark hour eventually. Is Krampus pretty much the go-over thing for Christmas, or are there other creative themes we see?
All right. So there's actually a lot of good things that you can do with Christmas. We have at dark hour we have a winter witch, and Krampus is one of the creatures that we kind of bring to bear. But we also use ice trolls. Werewolves actually have a strong tie to Christmas. A lot of haunts do a serial killer Santa, like, you know, the Silent Night, Deadly Night Santa with the axe. I don't like doing that because Santa should be a good guy, and I don't like making him into a bad guy. He can't have his cake and eat it too.
Snowfarmer says we're driving from California to Florida next year. I'll take you up on it.
Yeah, yeah. Just, you know, message me, and I'm not saying I want to do this, or I might, or I would do it again for sure. But I've had a message at 4 in the morning. We're driving through Texas. It's my only chance to see dark hour. Is anybody there? I got out of bed. I put on pants, and I went and I gave them a tour. So yeah, let me know. We're pretty accommodating.
You ought to see his minor elves. Some scene.
Oh yeah, yeah. I do a lot of elves too. I was talking Christmas monsters. Yeti, Wendigo. You know, there's two kinds of Wendigo. There's the big white kind. There's the kind of the big deer antlers. Those are very good. Also.
Ezekiel says he is a bad guy. I'm still waiting for my bike from 9 years old.
Well.
Are there any problems between FW inks and pinata inks? And have you ever used Tim Gore's bloodline paints on a mask?
Okay. Pinata inks and FW inks. They're really close. The reason why I switched is locally, Hobby Lobby used to carry FW inks. They stopped. And they now carry an ink that is not alcohol based, called Dr. something or other. So I could not get them locally. Since I had to buy online, I'm giving a visual demo here. This is $7 of FW inks. This is $9 worth of Pinata alcohol-based ink. It's just, this is a better value. It's a better deal. Since I have to buy online, I might as well get a good deal. I also like their colors. I fell in love with a color called Havana Brown. For my birthday one year, me and the wife went to an art supply store, and I purchased just some, you know, test inks to see what they had and what I liked. And I love this color called Havana Brown from Pinata Inks. And that got me to buy all of their colors.
Very cool. I'm new to creating props, as you saw at MHC, so I'm trying to learn the themes and stuff that people find interesting.
Oh, and have I used Tim Gore's Bloodline? No, I have not. But I haven't needed to. I haven't needed to stray away from just the good old latex mask paint. So this is what I do.
I'm going to send you that Lobos Paramilitary Christmas comic book this year. It'll change your life.
Okay.
The best way to do a killer Santa is do an imposters. talk about Wendigo is a Native American creature.
Now, this is the copper wire. I twisted up with the red wire, and then the black wire I twisted up with the silver side. So I know red is copper all the way down here, and I'm consistent with that always. I put a little bit of hot glue onto the mask, and I folded the wire onto it, and I folded the other wire onto this. I do it that way because the thermoplastic is a plastic coating. The wire is plastic coated before I stripped it off. So I'm not soldering it together, but yeah, I did put it back in a wire coating.
I've been shooting a lot of Rip dye on props this year. I just keep 6 colors in spray bottles. That was popular and
Yeah, Rit dye is good. It's a little pricey. But it's good, yeah. And Walmart carries it. There's a lot to be said for convenience when it comes to making stuff. I'm twisting together that next set of wires on the other side. One set of wires per eye. There we go.
You're the master at your craft, Alan.
I don't know about that.
Cobwebs of Concrete says I also soaked some concrete brains and skulls in Rip dye. They lightened it up a lot, though.
That's cool.
I tuned in late. Is this an order, or are you just making it to make it?
This is an order. Probably the next few times I'll be on, it'll definitely be in order because it's that time of year. People are pushing to get stuff for their Christmas show.
Scopio says, I'm going to Transworld for the first time next year, feeling out what people think of my work.
Oh, are you exhibiting? And what's your company name? Wife, do you have time for a story?
It's under Luke Scopio Art. I think I said that right.
Very cool. Luke, that sounds familiar. Were you at MHC?
Yeah, he already said he was, I think he already said he was at MHC.
Yeah, okay.
He's exhibiting.
I remember. I remember you.
It says, yes, sir, I was.
I remember that. Old and frail as my mind is. All right, so what is happening now is I have a wire from this LED and the wire to this LED. They're coming in towards the back. And I'm wiring into them silver to silver and copper to copper. I'm wiring in the battery holder.
Cobwebs and Candlesticks says I may need to go to MHC this year. It's only an hour and a half away.
You definitely should go to MHC. I love the fact that it moved to Chicago. Wyatt, can you tell a story real quick? I have to go away for about 40 seconds.
That's a quick story.
Yeah.
Gosh. Well, I'll tell you what just happened this evening that I found out. Alan loves sweets. And so I made him one of his favorite cakes is pistachio cake, also vintage kind called a Watergate cake. And so I made him a cake, and he likes this Cool Whip with pistachio pudding mixed in it frosting, which is not really a true buttercream frosting, but hey, he loves it, and so I make it for him once in a while. And haunt season is over, the man deserves a cake. And so I go in to get the tub of Cool Whip out of the fridge so that I can make the frosting, because you got to have that. It's the best part. And I open up the tub, and there's only a quarter of the Cool Whip left. So somewhere at some time, someone, I'm not going to say who, has been has been eating the Cool Whip that I was saving to make frosting for his cake. And probably hoping I didn't notice it. The good thing is, luckily for him, is that I had some more in the freezer. I just had to thaw it out real fast, and it does thaw quickly. I'm hiding the Cool Whip because you'll eat it. And so that was a moment. Not really so much of a story. So many of the stories I tell about Alan and my life together involve him and nudity. And I was trying to lighten it up a bit because he's always naked. So I thought I would make this one a little more G-rated, but don't get used to it because most of our stories are a little nuts. So take it away, Alan.
That's my life.
We have a kitty in here.
Okay.
Hey, buddy.
So you guys can see. It's the super simplest wiring. And I'm going to grab some little zip ties.
All right. Seriously, you're very lucky I had
Pumpkin pie is where that Cool Whip.
Nudity and Cool Whip go hand in hand. Okay.
Sadly, yes. I can't argue with you.
Oh no, you have a fridge monster too. We always get them at Christmas, yeah. I do. Maybe I missed it, but what do you need in order to order a Krampus mask? I'll get this. Hang on, Plastic Ninja.
You didn't miss it. My wife abandoned you.
I did not. Just copy and pasting you. Cheesecake is my weakness.
Oh, I like a good cheesecake. All right, so I just zip tied those together so that anything that pulls on them isn't going to pull them apart. The zip tie kind of stops that. And right now, I'm just using the hot glue to hold it down to the mask.
I really enjoyed the Hell's Gate haunt tour at MHC. I wonder who will be next.
Heck yeah, that was a good one.
It was great.
So basically I put down hot glue first, and then I put the wire into that, and then I put down more hot glue. So it's basically, it's back in a plastic coating. Don't do this. Very hot. It'll stick to your fingers, man.
What does agate LEDs are you using?
What?
What size? B-I-Z-E LEDs are you using?
What size? He missed that.
Size.
Okay, so these are the 5mm. I like the 5mm a little more than the 3mm because I have fat sausage fingers. And it's just easier to use them.
The thing I love most about your work is practicality. You only do as much as you need. It's so easy to go overboard.
It is easy to go overboard. I try not to. This is a little jewelry bag. I use it to hold the battery in the back on the back of the mask. I can hide it real easy with hair, and it's easier to change a battery out in the dark when it's in one of these than it is in the battery case.
Bleeding Green for Life says, hi, y'all. This is just Tom.
Hello, just Tommy. Now I'm going to switch to a soldering iron because I want to put some easy holes in the latex. And I use the soldering iron because it burns. Halloween was amazing. I saw that one.
Cobwebs and candlesticks is checking out. Good night. Night all.
Good night. My soldering iron is heating up. When it is warm, I'll use it to poke some holes in this so I can easily zip tie the little jewelry bag to the mask. Again, it's a mechanical bond. I like that mechanical bond, not just glue. You know what? I could test this, right? Wouldn't that be nice? Make sure the LEDs work. Hey, the LEDs work. See how both of them are shining at you at the same time? That means they're lined up correctly. Yes, a leather hole punch works well on a latex mask, but a squeeze punch, I couldn't get it, like I couldn't do a hole right here with it because I'd have to, you know, wad up so much of the mask on it. And then the kind that take a hammer blow to pop out a hole, those work just fine, but then I've got to lay it down and put a thing underneath of it. I just find a soldering iron just melts little holes right in through there and it does a great job.
Have you ever used a leather hole punch to punch holes in a latex mask? Does it work there?
I was just answering that.
I feel like it would dull out for you.
It's not terrible for dulling out.
Alan, do you like pecan pie?
I do like pecan pie, but I don't like hot pecan pie. I like pecan pie cold the next day. Like I want fridge pecan pie.
Buttermilk pie.
Yes, otherwise known as chest pie. Delicious. The answer is that I like pie.
You don't like fruit pies, though.
I'm not a big fruit pie person. Again, cold. I like cherry pie cold the next day. Pretty delicious. Hello, Jonesy. You went in there?
You put in that second door.
There we go. If the cats want to go searching for Mises, I let them.
Hello, Mrs. Allen. Hello. I don't like fruit pies either. Why are we asking about pies? Who's got cake? Is your cat named for an alien?
Yes. And it looks like the cat from Aliens.
The ginger cat.
We have 3 cats.
No.
We have 4 cats. We got a spare cat. I forgot I've got to put holes in the jewelry bag too.
Go to Costco for pecan pie, the best.
Costco, you say?
My dog is named Ripley, so they need to meet. Costco for pecan pie. Okay. But it doesn't have burning.
So those little holes, soldering iron, boop, boop, right through, melted the fabric, no problem.
pie, only fruit pie I like.
Going in through this hole that I made.
What pie are you getting for Thanksgiving?
Probably a pumpkin pie.
No, that's not what you asked.
What did I ask for? Chocolate cream pie. Delicious. I think dessert should be cold and creamy. I'm not a big warm dessert person. If it's hot, it's dinner. So it's possible I have a piece of warm pie for dinner, a piece of cold pie for dessert.
How's the weather going in Texas?
Um,
It's balmy right now.
it's trying to figure itself out, okay? It knows it's November. It's like we should be cold,
And we have fall color.
but today was beautiful. It was beautiful outside today, but a little overcast, you know?
It's going to get cold tomorrow.
Yeah, now, and then, like next Tuesday, it'll be in the 20s.
Yeah.
And today was what, the 80s?
No, it was just the low 70s.
70s?
But it was very, very humid. And then we have a cold front coming through tomorrow morning, and then a big one coming from next week.
So you see how that goes through those holes? It's going to hold these wires down and in place, and it's going to hold this little bag on.
My wife makes pies all the time. Rhubarb is great too. Hot peach cobbler with ice cream. Ezekiel says it's 91 days for summer.
91 Fahrenheit or Celsius?
Big dog wants pie.
Wouldn't 91 Celsius be like 180 degrees?
It's in the teens where we.
Because 100
Fahrenheit.
is
91
212.
Fahrenheit.
Yeah. All right, so now I have this nice little battery pouch back here. And I have the tab, so I can just tab this guy on.
Have you considered using RGB LEDs?
Red, green, blue. That change color. No, I just haven't needed it, you know. Here, he's looking right at the camera, and both his eyes are shining, so that's good. Yeah, eyes are lit. That's lit, dog. It's lingo. Learn it from kids in the streets.
Are you on the street now?
I'm not on the streets. Well, I don't go to the streets. I haven't been on the street in a long time.
With red, green, blue eyes. That is super cool.
Now I've got purple, I've got blue, I've got color under the rainbow as far as LEDs go to put in eyes. All right, so I'm going to treat these cords a little bit more. Just a little bit more hot glue.
Needs a change of scenery. All the trees are dying up here in the northwest of New York. We had fall color today. Where were you when you saw it?
Driving George Bush.
It is pretty.
Very colorful this year. We don't get a lot of fall color because we're dry, but it's been pretty wet this year, so yeah, we get just the right amount of rain, just the right temperature to get good fall color. All right, so now these are glued, to the mask, and why I do that is I don't want them to snag on anything. I want them to just be out of the way. I'm gonna cover them with hair. You'll never see them.
Did you get the LEDs to go on and off like this blinking?
Absolutely. All I do is I cut the positive line, go to that battery terminal, I run that down to a hand button, and then the actor can press the button and the eyes come on.
Is that what you did for the insect show?
Yes. Yeah. And that's a story for you to tell should we need it later. Mm-hmm.
Did you go to the
That's true. So yeah, my cords are all tucked away. I've gotten all of that stuff done. Let's get him painted. I'm gonna grab myself some paints. Be right back.
Says love the red against the mask color. It really pops.
Well, I'm about to ruin that.
These are all in this white, which is great.
Okay.
Both of them.
So tell them what happens on Monday. After.
Oh. Okay. Alan's gathering some things that he needs real quick. So just a quick bit on Monster Camp. One of our parting gift to our students. We like to tell them this early. And Big Dog, if you're listening, listen up. That we have it's not necessary, you don't have to attend, but on Monday after Monster Camp, we give a private backstage tour to Dark Hour, and it's about probably 2.5, 3 hours long. It's a long tour.
Yeah, it takes about 3 hours.
It takes about 3 hours because you get to see the entire show with the lights on, and you get to see the makeup room, costume room, where they make the masks and the foam appliances and everything. And it's kind of like our parting gift to say thanks for coming. And because Dark Hour is closed on Mondays, it is truly private. No one else is there but us. So it's really cool. So when anybody comes to Monster Camp, if they are able to arrange their flights or travels to include Monday morning following, it's kind of our thanks for coming. And then Monster Camp is truly over. It's not a mandatory thing by any means, because Sunday of Monster Camp in the afternoon, you have finished your mask, and you are now ready to go. But the Monday is a parting gift to say thanks. And it's cool and private. See? Are you going to sell blanks at MHC again? I didn't get to snag one last time.
I'll probably have a few.
Do you worry about the flashing effect on the LED and coat or scruff up the lenses?
Occasionally I will scruff them up. And these I might just pop with a Dremel in order to calm them down a little bit. I might also just cover them with a dollop of hot glue, and that's a nice dispersal as well.
Is there a reason for using hot glue and not silicone on the wires?
Yes. The wires are coated in thermoplastic. That is the coating of the wire that's already there. And by using hot glue, I'm putting them back in thermoplastic. Whereas silicone would peel away a little bit easier, because it's not the same material as the wires were already coated in.
Big Dog and Mrs. Big Dog are coming to Monster Camp.
Well, that's very good. And I'm just putting on like some preliminary color a little bit here, that with the latex mask paint, and then I'll airbrush more on top of this too. to get this guy all the way painted before I hair it. That is my normal process. I just think a little bit of red or lavender or mauve or whatever it is around the eyes underneath kind of makes them look a little more alive. We have red around our eyes. That's like it.
Are those teeth latex or pumpkin teeth inserted later?
These are pumpkin teeth that I inserted into the sculpt. And then I just mold it with the pumpkin teeth in the sculpt. So now these are latex. These are latex teeth. But they're also pumpkin teeth.
How do you get out of hard to reach spots on a mold?
Power washer. It is my friend. Those are blinding when I shoot them right into my eyeballs. I don't recommend you do that. All right, so we are in good shape now. I'm going to clean off the end of my brush a little bit here by squeezing off the excess paint. You could brush it onto a towel, but why do that when you have pants? Okay, so that's all the color I need on him right now. And I'm going to go ahead and hit him with some airbrush shading. So get my airbrush set up. Are all the cats accounted for, honey?
Jones, I think, is outside. All right, let's bring that up. It's only Jones is the only one who's in it.
So my shop is set up a little bit modular, and I tend to move things around. So right now, here's my airbrush. Airbrush setup is very simple. Splitter, quick connect, single action airbrush, double action airbrush. For this, I'll probably only use the double action. Now it has been a while since I've cleaned this airbrush. So let's see what happens. This may turn into an instructional video of how to clean your airbrush. Or how to not be like me and just clean it when you're done using it.
Power washer doesn't damage it at all?
No, the power washer does not. As long as your power washer is like 1700 or less, then PSI that is, then no, it's not a problem. That is carburetor cleaner. I'm seeing if the airbrush will spray carburetor cleaner. It will, therefore, it's clean enough to spray ink.
We are all guilty of the dirty airbrush.
Yeah. Carburetor cleaner, man, it's the best.
I'm going to start doing matte sculpting and mold making. What type of brush would you suggest to get?
Get the Ed head from Monster Makers. That's what I would probably recommend. Or come to Monster Camp and get a half mask bust from me. But no, I mean, Monster Makers, Ed Head, Bitty Mold Supply sells sculpting busts. They're very good. cleaner. Let's get some inky dinks.
Sweet Haunted Yard says hello.
Hey. Steve's Haunted Yard also did a vampire theme this year. You go to his YouTube channel, you will see all the cool vampire stuff that he made. Great. All right. Takes a little bit to get the airbrush going and flowing, you know? And I'm actually going to switch out what it's on.
Thanks for posting videos. Great to watch when I have downtime, and it's helped me get back into and improve my masks and such.
Awesome. Who was that?
Wolf Eva B.
It's like I'm a little bit higher when I am painting.
Ezekiel says, can recommend Alan's bust, Ed Head, and David Mosher hat.
There you go. I'm actually going to undo the eyes. I like having them on while I'm working on it. It was shooting me right in the eyeball.
I think I've seen Alan use the Mosh head.
I'm used to the David Mosher head, absolutely. It's good.
Monster Maker sells starter kits too.
I don't like their starter kits. And I don't like their starter kits. It's just a lot of stuff in there that you don't need. Everybody kind of develops their own style, but you don't know what you need until you develop your style. And I would kind of just recommend you start with very little, you know, and slowly build up what you need. Not because I, you know, think you should be at some kind of disadvantage, but why spend more than you have to? So I just hit that with a little bit of this shadow gray, and I'm just giving it some shading. A nice trick with airbrushes is if you shoot up from underneath, it'll look like there's a light shining down on it.
Also, I never got to thank you for introducing me to Harbor Freight. Airbrush saves me tons of time basing my masks quickly.
Dude, best ever. I loves it. I used to keep my Pinata inks over there, and that's why I've walked over there a few times. Now they're all over here on the door, so not even over it.
Stephen Scott says, I watched your video on your Krampus suit and made my own by watching you.
That
Yes.
is cool.
You will see it at the Krampus walk in Dallas if you were there.
Awesome. Awesome. And I use my Pinata inks straight. I don't dilute them with anything. So a lot of people dilute them with alcohol, like 50-50. And that's cheaper. But I really like to just go heavier. Doing a magenta color for the gums. And I'll just do the lightest of passes over the lip so that the lips get a little bit of haze, but not a lot. Just want to warm that up.
I started using the Monster Maker's Bust pancake air compressor, Harbor Freight airbrushes, and a few inks. I just kept adding tools and paints and such. I just recently bought a Pache, gosh, H, and I love it.
Oh, I love my
the latex, clay, and plastic.
Pache H.
Pache H.
Okay. That is enough of that color. I did something I kind of don't like. I did a little bit of a mist of this red on top of some of the white. I see a little bit of pink up there. It's just like a haze, but I don't like it. So I'm going to go ahead and just hit it again with this white.
I have Badger airbrushes from my model building days, some cheap ones, and he's using serve the job well too.
Oh yeah, Badger. There's very few like bad airbrushes out there. They all kind of get the job done. I like the H because I can put a variety of materials through it in a variety of thicknesses. And that's a little harder to do on, you know, on some of the more finely tuned airbrushes.
For anyone who needs a small flat compressor, I got the California Air Tools compressor. Very nice for the artist who creates shared spaces.
Yeah, you know what? Harbor Freight actually has a very nice and very quiet compressor out now too. It's just a nice quiet compressor. And that's, you know, shared spaces. That's a big deal. You don't want your neighbors to think you're a butthole. All right, so now I'm going to go in one more time. Put some white down here. I'm going to pop these teeth.
External mix for the
Yeah, man, it's so easy to take care of. I dry brushed everything when I used to brush before. I'm not dry brushing now. I'm painting these teeth. I'm actually getting a good load of paint on my brush. I'm dragging it down that tooth. I'm leaving a gap of color in between the tooth base and the gums. Don't get any white on your gums, obviously.
I tried a pancake compressor in my bedroom and made everyone who was sleeping very unhappy, so I had to upgrade to a silent one.
Yeah, that helps.
I have mine in my shed out in the backyard.
My compressor's in the other room, and then I've plumbed the air line to come into here. So when it's on, you barely hear it. So how's that guy? What do you think, wife? You need a little bit of blue in it or anything? Blue tones?
It's going to be white, stark white. Fur.
White hair, yeah. There's a touch of dinge in the hair, a little bit of dinge yellow.
And the skin tone is very cold.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I like the bruise color design. Your skills are over 9,000. That's a sick Krampus. I like it.
Why, thank you.
The quiet compressor is expensive, but CO2 with the moisture trap is the quietest way to use it.
That's true. That's very true. My only issue with that is it's hard to tell when you're running low. All right, so I'm calling that painted. Let's start some hair. Alexa, what time is it?
It's 9:02 p.m.
All right.
Hope you enjoyed your Wednesday.
Thank you, Alexa. Very courteous, Alexa. Alexa, add iron grip silicone to my shopping list.
I added iron grip silicone to your shopping list.
I apologize to anybody watching who I just added iron grip silicone to their shopping list.
I want to say thank you. I was inspired by your work. I made my niece and nephew Krampus costumes this year with a mask, fursuit, and a basket for their candy. Your videos helped so much.
That is awesome.
That was awesome. Dude, why would you have a spy machine?
I assume you mean Alexa. I have a spy machine, so it writes down shopping lists for me. Alexa does a lot of really cool stuff, and I'm not afraid of the government.
I have to head out. Do you know when you'll be live again?
Maybe tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then Tuesday night I'll be live.
I now have iron grip silicone on my shopping list.
Sorry about that. All right, I have my silicone for attaching hair. I have a lot of hair over here. I'm kind of batting cleanup a little bit because I had a lot of white hair projects, so I'm just using what was loose. Here's the scissors that I'll need. Great. Okay. Just laying a bead down. Lay it down. Lay it down. This is not a lot. Will not get me all the way there. That is why I have more. Hey, honey. Did the black Krampus suit and white Krampus suit pay PayPal yet?
Not the last time. My wife is ready to come to Moscow camp. She's excited to get added to the first stab list. Mayfield's Mayhem. What's your missus' name? There's a few people on that list too. I'm gonna write it here. Ah, gotcha. Okay. Crystal. Yes, we've got her down, and I'll be sending her some information soon.
Okay, so now I've got this little piece right here I gotta do. I have a little piece.
I see you use contact adhesive to do the hair on other videos. What's the reason for silicone on this?
Normally I use silicone now, but I use iron grip silicone adhesive. A, it is faster. B, the hold is just as good. And it is non-yellowing. I might do a great job with contact cement, but then down the road, the contact cement yellows, and you can kind of see the edges of where I put it together. All right, so that is one layer of hair. Let's do another. And I'm going about an inch apart for these. An inch is plenty.
Not sure why I always assume silicone wouldn't stick to latex.
It actually sticks very well.
So just clear silicone then. I'll see if I have iron grip at my store.
Well, Ed Edmonds uses just 100% clear silicone caulking. So you probably have GE Silicone 2 or Silicone 1, and you can use either of those. That is what Ed Edmonds uses. I did some testing, and I found that iron grip actually held on the best. Like I clamped weights to it to see what it would take. And a 1-inch strip of this type of hair with, it had about 10 pounds on it, and it was holding that. So very strong bond. And what it really is, I think it's the vacuum created between the silicone and, you know, all those fibers of hair grab it. But it works very well. Very happy with it. That's 2. And each one gets shorter. That first one is really long and you think I'll never have enough hair. Just going all the way around.
Scott Colhart is a reference in that.
He's great. Scott is looking at doing a monster museum type thing at Renaissance Festival near him.
Where's that? Which reference?
Is it Minnesota? Is it, what was that festival? See, once I put the hair down, I go back and I just really press it in and smooth it out on that band up there. I'm going to tease all this up too, and then I'll actually spray it white to lighten this hair. It's got a little bit yellow tint to it, but I'm going to hit it with some white spray paint. That'll A, hold it in place like hairspray, and B, whiten it up a little. This stuff is actually longer. Put on the next run.
Bear and fur adds so much to the mask. I love it. Scott, is the Minnesota Renaissance Festival. That is awesome. Are those just wing pieces you're using?
Yes, just hair weave hair.
THX 101 says, hello, Wolfie, how are you doing?
THX.
Someone knows the name?
Who is this again?
I don't know.
Well, no, they were on for a while. Real names and then YouTube names are tough.
They are.
So if someone calls me Wolfie, that means they worked with me at Terror on Church Street or Skull Kingdom. That's what that means.
Did you answer that of those wig pieces you're using?
I just said yes.
Was at a party at the house of an Amazon executive. I live in Seattle, and he ordered wine for dinner. Arrived within 30 minutes. Oh, I love that.
Well, yeah, they knew the boss ordered it.
Or live with you. It's John.
Oh, gotcha. Cool. Or live with me.
Adams?
That was, no, Juan Carlos Soto, John. He was my roommate for years.
Is he
From
at Wolfie's
Costa
House
Rica.
of Dark?
Occasionally, he was at Wolfie's House of Dark, yes. Because sometimes I paid the electric bill when the lights was out. That's how I knew it was time to pay it.
You were single.
Yes. Yes, I was very single at the time. And now I'm just going on the sides of the head here. And then I'll come back and I'll treat the face separately. Get a chance, treat your face separately. And any ugly edges or whatever that I've got here, what hangs down off the face, it's going to cover it. Trying not to have any ugly edges. But you never know what's going to happen as you work it up. I'll definitely have this done tonight. In the morning, I will come in and I will tease it. I will tease all the hair up and spray it white. And that will really set this sucker off. And it may look a hair thin, like right now, but when I spray it, that's actually going to thicken the hair too. You know how they had those infomercials with where they guys spray paint their hair so it doesn't look like they have a bald spot? Same kind of deal. It does amazing.
Does painting the hair make it stiff
Yes.
so it's not natural feeling?
Yes, a little bit. But what happens with most masks is the hair will knot up. It'll get nappy. And right now it's beautiful flowy hair. But people aren't going to take care of this. And I hit that by hairspraying the hell out of it. If you think about, like, if you work at a haunted house, I'm sure you've seen at one point or another a nappy-headed Michael Myers mask, where it's all like wool. It's like Myers has dreadlocks. It looks terrible. Well, if you hairspray it with like spray paint or polyurethane, you can, you get ahead of that, and that doesn't happen. I want this to look like hair. It's more important that it looks like hair than feels like hair. I'll leave this stuff so it flows, but up in here, I'm going to spray it because I want to control it. I want to know where it's going to lay.
Michael Lassiter says hello.
Hey, Michael Lassiter.
You are the Bob Ross of Halloween. You see the beginning, watch you add stuff, and you say, why did he add that? But in the end, we all think, wow.
That is the hope. One of the weirdest compliments that I got on my video, on one of my videos on YouTube, I think it's on the mouse video. And he said, every damn time, I'm 5 minutes into your video and I'm convinced that you're an idiot and what you're doing is going to look terrible. And then you finish it and it looks great and I'm amazed. So, thanks. It's part of the process. It's part of the process. Let's do this. See, now I'm going right over those wires with the hair. Like none of this was like packaged hair, newly opened. This was all left over from elves.
Why not use crazy glue to add hold to the hair?
Crazy glue has 0 flex, so it won't flex. And latex flexes. So as soon as it flexes, the crazy glue pops off. It'll, a lot of people use like crazy glue for horns and things, and they might make it through shipping, and then they just pop off. The silicone has enough inherent flex to it where it doesn't do that. It has a good hold.
If everything looks perfect from the beginning, there'd be no need to finish it and spend all that extra time at the early stages when you're supposed to make it look messy.
You ain't lying.
Bonding rule, flexible to flexible, stuff to hard surfaces.
Yep. And these are just, I'm just hiding this bag. I'm just going to go right over the bag with hair. You can find the opening, but it's still, a little disguised for you. Think about those big green pieces of foam I put on there earlier and just how gone they are now. Probably thought those would be hard to hide too.
Will the torso of this have faux fur?
I'm not making their torso. If I made the costume, yes. But they only bought the mask from me. Yeah. full costume from me for a Krampus is $800. Unless it's on, if it's on stilts, then it's $1,200.
How far apart are you putting hair?
About an inch. I'm doing about an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter in between these bands. Okay. I will have to open that last package of hair. So I'm working on the top of the head right now. I'm going to move it over to another holder that is shorter.
You look awesome once you give it the CC DeVille style.
That's right. Yes. CC DeVille.
What do you do with the suit? What is the process to blend the long hair into the torso? I'm assuming the torso is fabric faux fur.
Yes, it normally is. But there's a latex chest piece that I put on. Now there's two kinds. There's full fur and there's a robe. If it's a robe, then you just have gloves and the mask, and you're set. But if it's a full fur, there's a latex chest that I use, and I put this kind of hair around it, and that blends in really well with the rest.
You're almost at 90.
Yeah.
You said the masks are $250, correct?
Yep.
That does not include shipping.
Yeah, shipping depending upon the style of Krampus, is about $40 because they're big horns and they just take up a lot to ship. And that's even, you know, if you're within Texas, it's not going to be that. But I got to charge $40 because, you know, it seems like the bigger the thing they order from me, the further away they are. If it's a full stilt costume, guaranteed zone 5.
How custom do you make it?
Very custom. I do it per order. I can change hair color, paint job. I have lots of different style of horns that I use. I use, I think 6 or 7 different sculptures. This is one sculpture for Krampuses. I prefer to use this one if it's for LED, if you want LED eyes. I change the color of the LED eyes. So, I mean, they're pretty dang custom.
Say goodnight to Luke.
Good night, Luke.
And THX101 says he misses you hot gluing his ears.
Yes. All right. So I was making a mask. All right. And John was my roommate, guinea pig, cohort, and I was hot gluing something on, and I really thought the mask would protect him. And he said, "That's really hot." And I said, "Quit whining." And I continued hot gluing, and sure enough, he had a blister on his ear from the hot glue gun. So after that, I did take John more seriously.
Are y'all still friends?
Well, obviously, I mean, we don't live close to each other, but yeah.
I still watch a Master Edward.
Well, you find one, you go watch Ed Edmonds' channel. That dude knows what he's doing. All right, so I'm going to break into, boy, here's what I don't like. This is 14-inch long hair. Hang on a sec, I'm just going to find some 8-inch hair.
I need to make a new gun to beauty supplies. You. Go see your buddy. She knows your car. You want
Yeah, I have all kinds of different hair that I use, which will, you can do a lot to change up the mask with hair and paint. Even this same mask, you can make it look a bunch of different ways, different horns. The custom options are nigh endless. And I kind of plan on it taking about, a tube, 3/4 of a tube of iron grip. The iron grip is about $7 a tube. So say I've got $5 or $6 in that. The hair is, let's say, roughly $12 a package, roughly. So there's money in that. Not the cheapest things in the world to make.
So Nick wants to know, what was the number of attendance at Dark Hour this season? Do you have that number yet?
Yeah, we're north of 25, north of 25,000, and that's what I try to do every year. Is I try to raise the price a little bit so that I don't want to do like 50,000 people in the show. It's hard to give a good show when you have that many folks coming through the door.
When do you officially start getting ready for transfer?
I'm already starting to get ready for Transworld. I already have all my designs figured out. I have some of them made, and I am working on the rest. So
Dark Hour's been closed 5
as soon as
So 4 days.
as soon as Halloween is done at dark hour, I really crank up on Transworld. But Transworld is a huge part of, it's a big part of my business and my income.
Nick says, hello Smokes, congratulations on the following and definitely creative event.
You know what? It's a good show. A lot of folks involved who aren't me. I'm lucky I get to be the director, but it's just a good show.
Plastic Ninja says, I almost went to Transworld.
Well, try harder.
Big Todd says, are you going to Transworld in St. Louis?
Yes, I do.
Hoping to go to the next one.
Every year, without doubt, I go to Transworld. Should you go to Transworld? Here's how it works. There's lots of things people who love Halloween. If Halloween is your business, if you make money at Halloween, go to Transworld. That's the delineation. It's not for hobbyists per se. It's for people who make money at Halloween. That is how they make an income. Whether it's haunted houses or whatever else it is at Halloween, that's the way to do it. All right, so I'm gonna move up to the taller head form again.
Transworld is well worth the trip if anyone's thinking about it. Ezekiel, from Australia.
Yeah.
From Australia. Pastor Ninja says, it's not terribly far from me. This year just didn't work out.
Gotcha. Here first. at a point where the hairline is kind of curving. So I did a little patch piece in the middle so I can straighten out on this next one.
Parkins Closet says, I want to go, but I'm up in the northwest, so it would be a long trip for me. One day I will go.
Well, and see, that's the kicker. If you make money during Halloween, it really makes sense for you to go. Yes, it's going to cost you to go there. But the vendors, the classes, well worth it.
Classic Ninja says, I'm also not a pro, just on the deranged end of a hobbyist.
Gotcha. See, then in that case, that's a lot of output. You know, you're not going to get as much back for it as you would as if you had a business.
Ezekiel says, Transworld's worth going to just for the barbecue.
Yeah.
Sugar fire.
Sugar fire
Ezekiel.
barbecue right
Sugar
there.
fire.
It's pretty good.
What do you do to stay motivated and recharge?
I don't have an issue. I love what I do. I'm not at a job. I'm not here to make money. Haunted houses, making monsters, training actors, scaring people, making costumes, making masks. It's a calling. It's what I am meant to be doing. I don't have any issue staying motivated. Now, one of the joyous things about the haunted house industry is if I get burnt out making masks, let's say, which truthfully I don't see happening, I could then focus on doing stilt costumes. If I get burnt out on making stilt costumes, I can shift my focus and make actor training DVDs. You know, if I get burned out on doing actor training stuff, I could spend that year working on airbrush makeup. There are so many things with so many different disciplines within the haunt industry that I don't see getting burnt out. I don't see getting not motivated. I'm not doing this because, you know, the school guidance counselor didn't say, hey, Alan, you should really consider a career in haunted houses. It didn't happen.
Transworld is a great place to make business connections as well as purchasing products, says Michael Lasser. Plastic Ninja says, it's not so much the cost, I enjoy the experience, it's mostly the time feasibility.
It actually comes at a really crappy time of year for me, too. Yeah, it's 4 days long. Yeah, it is 4 days, so you could maybe fly out for a day. So, there's a monster that this looks like. There's a movie called The Unnameable. Hair and the horns looks a bit like the monster from The Unnameable. Now that monster was very much a girl, but a really cool monster movie. A few lines there. Home stretch, guys. We're in the home stretch of this. There, Bob's over the ear.
THX 1101 says, we've been doing this since the 90s. We were cast members of the first Halloween Horror Nights at Universal.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
The very first, and they're about to celebrate their 30th year this next year. 2020 is 30 years. Did you trim the string that holds the hair and now you feather the loose ends into the silicone?
That's what I did up here, up on top. Yes. See how that hairline is? There's no heavy strand like that. That's because I just drew it down there with silicone. Yeah.
Networking at Transworld is a huge thing, says Ezekiel.
Yes.
Plastic Ninja says the problem with MHC is that it's 13 hours away versus Transworld is 7. THX 101 says, does the jaw articulate?
No, not on this. It could, and I certainly have done them that do. Just this style. And so, let's talk about some style here, okay? Krampus traditional Krampus masks are carved wood. So it is not expected for you to see a Krampus mask with a moving jaw. They're not meant to be real creatures. Krampuses are effigies of what those monsters look like. So traditional Krampus masks in Germany are carved from wood. So it's rather untraditional to have one made of latex. But you know, so it's not. No one expects a Krampus mask's jaw to move. It's just not a trait of the creature. That's like, does a werewolf have tentacles? No, werewolves just don't have tentacles. You know, the Krampus is it's a very cultural creature. It's, you know, Germanic. It is, every country that touches the Alps has a version of Krampus. Krampus is the monster that comes down from the mountain and takes away children. Well, what that really is it's winter. The teeth of the Krampus are the jagged peaks of the mountains where that cold just comes down from and hits the village. The horns of the Krampus are the icy claws of winter. And they can, you know, winter hurts, man. And that's kind of an important thing. Why does Krampus take children away? Because children freeze to death. The cold kills them. Krampus is winter. So I do like making these guys white and blue and icy, beautiful, but dangerous. I'm a monster nerd. It's true.
Use that on the side profile to show the hairlines on the finished pieces. How do you hide the seam on the hair?
I will.
And was your hot season good?
Haunt season was great. Let's do that.
Say hi to Laney.
Hey, Laney Williams.
And then Stone Farmer says, now my wife will think I'm losing it when I say, hey, let's go to the wig store.
Maybe. All right, so yes, we can in on the side here.
This is for Nick. Herman Munster.
So that's what's important, okay? That straight on shot. And if you look sideways, you can just kind of see there's a tier, a tier, a tier. But it's layered, and I'm going to paint it and pull it across like that. And I'm also going to get out the airbrush now, and I'm going to spray this edge. I'm hitting that seam. But I want to hit that with a dark color. This shadow gray. And once I airbrush that hairline, it'll go away, you know, more than it is now even. But right now, the hairline's not screaming. It's not saying, this is terrible. It doesn't say that.
PHX 101 says that Alan lives in Midland.
I live in Quinlan, N-L-A-N, Quinlan, Texas.
Kids in sticks.
Yeah, we live in the woods.
In the woods. And you get Popeye's chicken sticks.
Did you get one?
Yeah.
Was it as good as Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, I don't care. It was good.
I'm spraying my door, but I'm really just getting, I'm running this mauve color out of the airbrush. So that the gray that I put in later will read. Because the gray is translucent, it's called shadow gray. And if it goes in with that burgundy color, then all you're going to get is that burgundy color. Okay. Now my airbrush is pretty clean. See down in that holio. Now I can put in the shadow gray without pinking up my hairs. I still have a little bit of that color in there. And now this one, I'm just faking the hairline. I'm just spraying, because remember this hair is staggered like this, but I'm spraying that line straight down.
Michael Laster says it was a Nightbreed reference. Stephen B says, why not have the soft hairline around the horns?
You just don't need it. You could, but the time I spray it, it's a pretty subtle transition.
One day I would like to try and work at dark hour. It seems like it would be a fascinating job. That is classic.
One might say fascinating. Nightbreed. Man, I love that movie.
The Portal in Midland, that's what that was.
Oh, Midian. M-I-D-I-A-n. Midian.
Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. That's me.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's my wife.
Wife was a boy.
Now the wife has to watch Nightbreed 5 more times
I don't.
until she gets it straight.
No.
Director's cut.
Oh,
It's on Netflix. It's really good.
no.
All right, so this is the mask. All right. I'll go ahead and get my teasing comb. Let's tease it. $9.47. The sucker will be done by 10.
They'll be ready to go. The chart's correct.
I have it. Well, better find a way Friday to deliver. So this is a teasing comb. If you look at it, it's got teeth, and then the teeth have sideways teeth. Very scary if your hair. Now, and this is, I mean, that's kind of a full head of hair, you know? This isn't, I'm not doing this because I gotta hide stuff. I like it to look a little more wild.
I want to see a blue coal version at some point. I think it'd be cool.
I've done a couple. I've got pictures on my Facebook of them. And I also post pictures a lot on a group called Latex Mask Central. They get a lot of my Krampus pictures. I did a real good icy Krampus for Tony Livatore, or Livatore. I don't know how you pronounce his last name. I've only seen it written. I did him a nice icy Krampus last year. Now I got to move the hair out of the way so I can tease the stuff underneath. But this is going to make him very full. Love the movie Nightbreed. Minions Where the Monsters Go.
I'm just cool points.
You just lost cool points. You gotta watch Nightbreed 5 times. Make up for it. Then you'll get all the Decker references. If I say something like they're just filth breeding filth, you'll get it.
Ezekiel, I wish I still had hair like that circa 1988.
Buddy, sometimes me too. I've not been the best maintainer of my long hair, so it, you know, I'm hard on it too, just with my daily life. So I kind of let it go just for maintenance, you know. That's like 6 hours of my week I got back. But I'm going in and I'm hitting kind of each layer. And I'm teasing each layer to get it to puff up a little. And see, once it's all puffed up, you can't see through it in order to see, you know. Now that mask is painted black in there, but it's hard to find the dark spot. And then once I hit this with some white spray paint, and I want to hit it with white spray paint to stark up this and to keep it where I put it. I'm going to control this hair. I want to know where it's going to live. And I want where it lives to be my choice. Why would I do all the work of hairing it and then, you know, let it control its own hairstyle, you know?
Ezekiel, hard to walk into a bank for a home loan with a head of hair like that.
It is, my friend, it is.
Oh my God, it's crazy.
So I used to make John, who was my old roommate who was watching, I used to, yes, I made him watch Nightbreed 1,000 times. He's a better man for it, I say. But I also made him play foosball with me. But I like playing foosball.
That shot as you turn the head showed the difference in teaching coach.
Oh yeah, the teasing makes a huge difference. It's just fuller, it's more wild. It's crazy. Where I wish my buddy Steve Hayes were here. He would tease the hell out of this hairdresser.
Steve Hayes from Monster Camp 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't he send you a teasing comb?
This is it.
Is that it?
This is the teasing comb that Steve gave me. He's like, you're using the wrong combs for teasing hair. Okay.
Well,
Easy.
Was he right?
Yeah, he's right. These are way faster, way better. Yeah, the teasing does make a difference. And it's knotting it up, you know, it's giving it body that it just didn't have before. And some people like that laying flat, natural look, but I think all monsters with that flat black, they just look like Cher, if Cher were hideous. That long, straight black hair that so many masks have. Just learn to tease, guys, come on. Give your monster hair some body. Make it full. You know, this mask will look bigger too, you know, it's going to make him, it adds mass to your monster without adding weight. Hooray. It's going all around. It's a very fast process of holding the end of the hair, now pushing it towards itself, and boom, instant body. And I might go back and airbrush that hairline one more time because now, you know, it's a little better revealed. But this, with the iron grip silicone, you know, I can already tease this, you know. How long has this stuff been down? Maybe 20 minutes, you know? Maybe. And now, it's important that I don't just stay here and look at it. I'm going to get 10 feet away and look at it. I'm going to go ahead and spray paint it white, which it'll cool it down because it picked up some warm tones. It picked up some warm tones from the hair, and I want this to be icy in winter and cold. And this white is also going to act like hairspray.
Huge difference in teasing the hair.
Yeah.
I just joined. Could you start over? It looks amazing.
Sure thing. Let me get a blank. All right, so we start with a blank mask like this. No. Just rewind it when I'm done in 5 minutes.
It says, that makes it jump to life. Super cool. Taking back my workshop this weekend, putting Halloween away, excited to create some marvelous food. That's Nick from Monster Camp 3.
That's right, buddy. You get on it. And I'm spraying it into the hair because I don't just want to change the color. I also want to stiffen this hair up. I want it to be a little rigid. I want it to have a little bit of strength. I want it to hold in this shape that I'm making it be. Not only will I spray this on it, I'll go back and I'll hit it with glossifier, anything to plasticize this hair a little bit. Make it be a nice, big, woolly monster. And you know what? If this wasn't in order, then silver. The bigger head that is. There we go. That's a big old Krampus. And that's drying. Yeah, I think I still have some color in the airbrush. I'm gonna go ahead and hit this hairline again. And I know that it looks like it makes the hairline jump out, but it also makes it fade in. Now I've got a difference, you know? And I'm using the hair to frame the face. Turn his eyes on me. See how that hairline looks now that it's airbrushed and on? That has the weave intact, but I just airbrushed it. What'd you say, Lev? Thank you guys, appreciate it, glad you like it. And see, with those LED eyes in there, you won't see the actor's eyes up underneath really at all. And in pictures, not a chance. I'm gonna grab some glossifier. This is a plastic dip product. Makes things look glossy. Plastic dip glossifier. And I'm going to hit his face really good with it. Now his face will look shiny and wet. Bit of a glisten. No, the horns have a nice shine to them too already. So, I mean, I let them, see how shiny they are? They're good. All right, guys, so that's that. I made a monster. So, I appreciate you all hanging out with me and watching. Wow, there's 43 people on still. That's amazing. On a Wednesday night. You guys are great. I'll definitely be on next week. I'm going to go to the Legendary Haunt Tour in Atlanta this weekend and see Netherworld. It's going to be amazing. And just thank you guys for watching. If you get a chance, go make stuff.